Gear up, scooter fam. What's the right scooter for you? Today, I'm going to discuss 11 of my favorite scooters, starting from the least expensive to the most expensive. Let's get into it. First of all, we're going to start with my personal favorite scooter under $500, the Hover One Journey Max. I own two of these scooters, and for under $500, I don't think you can beat it. There aren't too many dual motor scooters under $500. This one, and then the other Hover One, which is about $50 to $100 less, at the, depending on where it is at the time. So, and that's probably less of a solid scooter in my opinion, which is why it's a tad cheaper. So, and based on reviews as well that I've read. So, the Hover One Journey Max is my favorite. Let me talk about what I think it does. It does best. The acceleration is great, not good, great. For a scooter under $500 for sure. Hill climbing is amazing. That's that. As far as like what really stands out about the scooter, those two things are tip top. It's dual motors, which gives way to those two things: acceleration and hill climbing. I like lots of things about the scooters, but those two are the real highlights in my opinion. Everything else is fine. The range is fine. The top speed is fine at 20 and 20. Everything about the scooter is decent, but the hill climbing and the acceleration are above, over and above what I would expect. So I will say those are my favorite things. Let me talk about a couple of things that I don't like about the scooter. My least favorite things. Not that they're necessarily surprises, but just my least favorite. I'm gonna pick two more things about it. That would be the tubed tires. It's not necessarily the fact that they're tubed, but tube tires in that type of motor, hub motor, is a flaw. It's a flaw. The stem is gonna sit on the rim and at a sharp point. And if you did this on a bicycle, you were almost certain to eventually get a stem cut, which is what happened to my first flat that I got on the Hover One, and for good reason. And when I reinstalled the inner tube, the new inner tube, I had the same problem getting it in there myself, sitting flush because of the way it's designed. So that's probably the most frustrating thing to me, was dealing with the inner tube in this on this scooter, and the fact that it's not a split design makes tire changes really complicated. So I don't enjoy that part. I don't enjoy changing the tires and tubes on the Journey Max. The other thing that's really a pain is the lack of suspension. It's not a surprise, except this was my first scooter, and I just didn't realize how much the lack of suspension was going to make a difference in my ride. I will say over time I've gotten used to it though. Even though at first it was pretty jarring at times. I hardly notice it anymore. I got some good gloves. I keep my knees bent all the time, and that's seems to be workable. So for under $500, I still think it's worth what it is, and I don't think you can beat it, in my opinion. A quick note: the Hover One Journey Max White version is $445 on Amazon at the moment. Next, we're going to talk about the InMotion Climber. At the moment, it's $599 on InMotion site, which is a great deal for the scooter. Its normal price is $999, which I have seen it at. More recently, it's been at $699, which I think is actually a decent price. And so $599 is a steal, in my opinion, for the InMotion Climber. Let me go over a few things that I think are a significant upgrade from the Hover One Journey Max. at $5.99, which is a great deal, you get 10-inch tires, which is awesome. Versus 8.5 for the Hover One Journey Max. So a decent upgrade there. They are tube tires, but they're split rims, so that makes the tire changes much more simple. I like that a lot better than the Journey Max. So for, like I said, maybe $100 or so upgrade from the Journey Max, I think this is well worth it. If this had been $5.99 when I was shopping my Journey Max, I probably certainly would have given the InMotion Climber a serious consideration. The other thing is it's got turn signals versus the Journey Max. I do find myself needing turn signals from now and then when I'm out. Jump over to have to turn left or something, and I'll jump in the road and get over on a residential street, of course. But I want the cars, especially in front of me, to know that I'm turning. So the ones behind me, I'm not really concerned about because nothing that they're doing is really going to impact me or vice versa. They're coming up behind me. Hopefully they stop and they see me. But more than, for as far as my blinker goes, I'm not really concerned with them knowing why I'm turning if I'm turning. If I'm stopped and I'm in the left lane and I'm in front of a turn-in, then the chances are I'm turning. Now, for a car approaching me, they may not, know that I'm stopped. They may not know what I'm doing. They could guess. Another situation is at a four-way stop where it's not clear if I'm turning or going straight to the car in front of me. So instead of them having to guess, I would rather be able to turn on my right or left turn signal to let them know my intention at the four-way stop. Also on the like on the residential roads is what I'm talking about. So the turn signals are a big deal for me, and they're on my Klima, which is one of the things I liked about the Klima. The new one is that they had front turn signals because I found those more useful than the rear in general. So let's see what else we got. The top speed's a little bit higher than the Hover One Journey Max. The range is probably very close to the same. And they're both really comparable in top speed and range, so very close. They both have a thumb throttle with a center color LCD screen. So, yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. It's got 450 watt motors versus 350 watt for the Hover One. It's very nice as far as the build quality. InMotion does a really good job of their build quality. Although I don't have a problem personally with the build quality of the Hover One Journey Max for $500. I think it's excellent build quality for that price. You've got the InMotion Climber at 450 watts nominal power, 750 watt max power, or max peak power as they say, and so the hill climbing is probably a tad better than the Journey Max, but I'll believe you're gonna conquer almost any hill you face with either one of these scooters. They're both great hill climbers. Next up on the list is the GoTrax GX0. For only a few $100s more, you can get the Zero. You'll get dual motors and suspension. The top speed is 28 miles per hour, and the range is slightly longer than either the Hover One Journey Max or the InMotion Climber. So you've got this at $8.99 with 28 miles an hour and about 25 miles of real world range. You still have the 10-inch tires like you do on the InMotion Climber. You do have a dual 500 watt motors, which is 50 more watts than the InMotion Climber. So you do get a little bit more wattage. Although I, as far as like hill climbing and acceleration, I would expect it to be very comparable to either the Hover One or the Climber, the Journey Max or the Climber. It's a beefier scooter. At 66 pounds, it's quite a bit heavier than the Journey Max or the Climber, both at around 45 pounds. So that's a big difference. It is the beefiest of the scooters, but it does have the top speed of 28 miles per hour. Although I expect the acceleration to be very equal or comparable to the Journey Max and the Climber. The GX0 at $899 is a deal in my opinion. Under $1,000, I believe this scooter is competes really well with other scooters under that price, and that's why I chose it for the less than $1,000 scooter range. Next up, we have the under $1,500 category. My favorite in this category is the Ego One V2. It is currently listed at $1,569, but a $100 off coupon can be applied, bringing it down to under $1,500. As far as compared to the GoTrax GX0, you get a much nicer scooter, I think, in my opinion, for the extra $500. You have a top speed of 35 miles per hour in a much better package in my mind. This scooter normally would retail at $19.99, which it has for sure. The lower price now is due to the V3, and so the V3, also a great scooter, just makes this one a little bit better of a deal compared. Not that the V3 isn't a great scooter for the price, but I think this one is just more of a deal. Next up is another one of my personal favorites, the Nami Klima. And at $18.99 for the 25 amp hour version, which is what I have, I believe it's a steal. It might be, my favorite scooter, period. I think it probably is. And it's not because I own it, although that is why I bought it. I could have held out if I really wasn't happy with what it offered, but I'm extremely happy with what it offers. I believe it's a significant upgrade from the, let's say the Varla at $1,500, going up only a few $100s or so from that. From that price, in my opinion, is well worth it. You get a top speed of 42 miles per hour. A decent range. I haven't tested the range completely yet, and I've been riding around fairly slow at the moment, maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour, to be honest, on average, mostly because I don't trust the brakes, and so I'm just nervous of going up to 20 or over and then having to stop real quick with the lack of brakes that I have right now. I'm sure the brakes are fine. They're top of the line Logan brakes, but mine are faulty. That's the situation that I'm in, but the scooter's amazing. The suspension is unmatched. For the price, for the size, it's manageable. I have no problems getting it, carrying it up steps. I don't live on a second floor, but I have steps that I have to carry it up into my home. So that's not a problem at all. Up and down the steps that I have, a few steps, is not a big deal. Since I own it, I can go over a couple things that I really like, and a couple things maybe that I don't like. The scooter, as far as what I really like, maybe some things that I was pleasantly surprised about. The suspension is great, but I did expect that, and I don't really have too much to compare it to. It's quite a bit different, obviously, than the Journey Max, but Nami has the best suspension in the business, so you expect that comes with an expectation. I will say that one of the things that I really liked, that stood out, I wasn't sure how I was gonna like. I felt like it was a decent. It's as far as my research goes, I was interested in the paddle style throttle, and I know some people don't really care for it because it's got a big dead zone. But I think it depends on how you use it. So I've seen some recommendations about resting your thumb on the pivot point and then kind of sliding it along to get it to accelerate. And what I found is I just place my thumb right on not the paddle part, but the stem, the little stem that goes out to the paddle, not the where you put your thumb, but the connector to that. I find that to be the best place. It is as close to the pivot point as you can put your thumb. I don't actually put it on that because it just doesn't, for me, it just doesn't work well. So I don't actually rest my thumb on that. I actually use the bar that connects to the paddle as my pressure point, and I have no problem with over accelerating. That scooter is really powerful, uh, and so for me, now the Journey Max is also got some decent acceleration. It's a bit different, but it goes 0 to 15 in 3.8, and I think the Klima goes 0 to 15 in 2 seconds. So about twice as fast, and that is a difference, but it's not as if I was, jumping off of a rental scooter onto a Klima or something like that. So I've got a dual motor scooter that has a nice kick. I have had to learn to use that throttle as well, as I talked about. A little bit different approach because of how it's actuated. But those are the ways that I found to do that. So to control the throttle better. So on the Journey Max, I use the very bottom of the thumb throttle and not solidly on it. And I find that I have more control over that. On the Klima, it's kind of the opposite. I'm on the inside of the closest to the pivot point, which is the opposite of what I do on the Hover One Journey Max. And that's just where I've kind of gotten a good feel for it. So I did do some riding today on the Journey Max, only in a parking lot. I didn't get any footage. There was no point of just going in circles in a parking lot. So, and I did that to drain the battery a bit. I don't trust the brakes to go riding like out in traffic or at street lights, stuff with other people around. I just don't trust it. If I had to come to a stop real quick, I could lose control of the scooter. I could crash. I could hit someone. Another car, pedestrian, anything. So I don't like that at all. I was only comfortable going just across the street into a parking lot, and then just kind of going in the parking lot until the battery was under 80%. So it's now at 73%. I went over 20 miles. Once again, that's really slow. So, but just given that already, I could tell you it has better range than the Journey Max, which is great. I seen the range on the Klima Max from some report that was like 25 miles, and I thought, geez, what if I get less than 20 miles on the Klima? I don't believe that's going to be the case. So I'll give an update once I start going on my regular trips, like I normally go on, how many 7 mile trips I can go on. I'm certain I'll be able to do 3, probably more. I'm not going to be driving around 45 miles an hour constantly. Today I tested out the modes in the parking lot, and I found right now I'm in dynamic mode. D, I thought it was drive, but turns out that's dynamic. Dynamic mode is probably what I'm driving in right now. I did increase it to sports mode. The top speed probably is the only difference. I didn't get it up to top speed. I don't even, like I said, I can't even get up to 20 miles an hour comfortably because I don't want to have to come to a sudden stop and crash because I don't have good rear brakes. I got up to, like I said, I did get up to 20 on the street where I could see in front of me. I wasn't going to have to come to a stop very quickly. I think I got up to close to 20 on the way over to the parking lot in the main road. Just to kind of test it out. That was in dynamic mode. Once I got over there and I rode around for a while in dynamic mode, because I haven't really got a chance to really just go and put the scooter to any kind of real test. I only went for one little short ride. And even then I didn't feel good about the brakes. So the parking lot was fine. No big deal there. I didn't go over 15 miles an hour, except like I said on the in the main street, and I had a little room, a room to go before I could slow down. So all I had to do was, release the throttle to slow down. And so I took I did some riding in there, and dynamic mode is fine. It still will pull you a little bit if you hit the accelerator really quickly. And then sport mode, I jumped into sport mode, and like I said, the biggest difference is probably top speed. I didn't notice any acceleration difference at that point, but I know that the top speed is higher. C mode, custom mode, I think it is. The acceleration picked up a little bit there. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing that's hard to get used to, but it did pick up just a hair. I could tell a difference in acceleration. And then X mode, that was that will take some getting used to. Who knows? One day maybe I'll decide to jump up there. But acceleration right from the jump is instant, and you really gotta be prepared. I think that's why a lot of people put their foot on the back footrest. Most of the time, I don't ride with my feet on the footrest. On the Journey Max, I'm used to putting them one behind another slightly. I don't know if I have as much room to do that on the Klima necessarily, but it's close. And my back foot kind of barely touches the footrest on the Journey Max, and so kind of the same thing on the Klima, or it's just how I like to ride. And I do find myself much more relaxed on the Klima because the bumps aren't as jarring. You still have to pay attention, but it's much nicer. I just don't find myself having to brace near as much for the little stuff, which, like I said, is just a nice chill ride. The only time I really brace is if I'm like turning and I need to sort of change my level of gravity. It's a really nice scooter. But the paddle is much easier to control than I was thinking it was going to be. I thought it might be a little jumpy, but I don't have a problem. I caught on really quick. And once again, in X mode is the only mode that really is a true challenge. I probably will move once I get going pretty, get my brakes and everything. I probably would be very comfortable in sports mode. I don't think I need custom just yet. If I want to, play with that later, I can. And X mode is certainly down the road. Who knows? No hurry to get there. But just based on what I did in the parking lot today, easily I could go to sports mode and have and increase my top speed. Right now, I'm still fine in dynamic mode going on. I probably will stay there until I get a feel and until I'm sort of like on the Journey Max. Eventually, I just started getting up to 20 miles an hour without really noticing it. When I start doing that on the Klima, I will bump it up to sports mode and get that extra. But that's probably going to be a while before I really need anything more than that. I may, I don't even know how long it's going to be. So sports mode is probably where I'm going to be for a while, and that'll probably be where I get my range from. Will be sports mode, and I'll probably be staying around 20-ish miles an hour most of the time. But the ride is amazing. When I get the brakes fixed, I can't wait. What else do I like about the scooter? The handlebars. The scooter size, I guess, in general. I was expecting a smaller scooter, not as small as the Journey Max, but somewhere, a tad smaller. I thought they listed at 70-something pounds. I think the official weight is 84 pounds or something like that. So I guess that makes sense. It is quite a bit beefier, which I like. It's nice to be on such a big scooter. I know it's not huge compared to some, but for me, it's quite a bit different. So the handlebars are really wide, which I really like. It feels comfortable, and it's just way different than riding the Journey Max. And so that's been a super pleasant surprise. I didn't realize how wide the handlebars were going to be, or how beefy the scooter is going to be. It's a big step up compared. I know some of the other scooters, like I said, like the GTR, are even bigger step up. So I don't even know what that's like. That'd be quite a workout. But I like it a lot. It's been really fun to ride. The suspension is just, you just ride and just kind of bounce up and down as you're riding. It's very nice. What things I don't like so far? There's not a lot that I don't like about the scooter itself. If I had to pick out something that I didn't like, I don't like that I got a brand new scooter that I paid $2,000 for that had faulty brakes. I know I got a little bit of criticism in the comments for being kind of gripey about that, and scooter companies that's the best they can do right now. I don't think it's the best they can do, but it's the best that they're doing. I don't like that I got a scooter that was faulty. The brakes were faulty on that I just paid $2,000 for. The response from that was very lacking. I would have preferred a response more like what I got with Amazon and the Hover One Journey Max. I was able to get on with an agent, chat with an agent, and get a resolution within minutes. And that was for a $500 scooter. Now, for a $2,000 scooter, I got on, tried to chat, couldn't get anyone. Was able to get to a part where I could submit a ticket. So I submitted a ticket. I found an email. I emailed more than one person. I found a phone number, which I called. Nobody would get on the line with me, but they would let me leave a message. I tried several routes, and I couldn't get anyone on the phone. So I left a voicemail. They let me do that. And I also texted. And I got one response via email per day. Nothing more. I emailed them right back when I got my response. Nothing again till the next day. I did it again. Same thing. Even though I was emailing, texting, calling, everything I could do to try to talk to someone to get a quicker resolution, because I've got a $2,000 scooter that I can't really ride. I've sort of, decided, I'm kind of, it's okay with me. At the end of the day, I'm going to learn how to fix these brakes. I want to learn how to fix the brakes. Do I wish that I had done this on a more voluntary basis in the future and kind of, or when it was time for maintenance? Yeah, sure. I do. But that is not my reality, and there's part about that I'm upset about, that I'm not happy with, and that's me being honest. So Fluid Free Rides probably isn't completely responsible for me not getting the scooter. With the correct brakes, I don't think they open the scooters and check them. That's probably more on NAMI. But Fluid Free Rides handling that customer service level is lacking, seriously lacking. So a person should be able to at least get on and chat with someone in a little chat window during normal business hours. You cannot. This little live button right here, it says live support. It's not true. It's just not true. I went through everything here, and it's not true. So, I mean, as you can see, like, you can go to product support. It will not give you someone. I've been through it. Trust me. It's not like I didn't try. So it's lacking. I love the scooter. Long term, I got a really good feeling I'm going to be happy with the scooter. This may be the last scooter I ever need. I doubt it, but it might be. If that's the case, I'll happily, upgrade it, mod it, later as I get more and more into it. I've been looking at the 4-piston brakes already. So I probably will upgrade the brakes at some point to the larger brakes. You can they're interchangeable with like the Bernies and the Namis. I saw a video on that. So I'll be upgrading my brakes at some point. The light, the headlight. If I do decide to ride at night, which I probably will never do, there may be a random circumstance, but I'm not going to go out many nights on the scooter. But if I did, I would like a better light in the front. It's fine, but I think there are better PMT tires maybe. But I wouldn't do that before my CST tires go out. So once they're ready to be replaced, I may go to PMT. That's a good possibility. I'll do it myself, so I can learn how to do that too. I've never changed a tubeless tire before. I plan on getting plugs. I don't want to put any more slime in my tires. I didn't really enjoy that. It messed up my valve stem 3 different occasions on the Journey Max. So I won't be putting it in my tires under normal circumstances. I'll probably get a plug kit for emergencies, and then I'll plug the tire and get back where I'm going. So I don't plan on having to use any kind of tire sealant. If they were pre-sealed or puncture proof with the little sticky stuff on the inside, that would be one thing. But I'm not putting any kind of sealant that can go through the valve stem. I'm not doing it. That was a mistake, and not pre-treating. No, if it was an emergency, you could do that, but then you'll likely still have to deal with those issues down the road. So I won't be putting any kind of tire sealant in my tires by choice. Unless it's a complete emergency, I don't have a plug, my plug didn't work. I mean, I do have some slime in my bag just in case, but I won't be using it. I bought it early thinking that I would like it based on some videos that I saw. But you can't trust all the videos you see either. In any case, and that's why you got to watch a lot. You got to watch a lot of videos. I don't want to hang up too much here on the Klima, but I did want to update a couple things that I don't like. So the service level that I got once I had a problem was a disappointment. And the fact that I got a brand new scooter with faulty brakes is a disappointment. I mean, right out of the gate, they didn't go bad on a ride. After 2 weeks, they never worked. So even today, when I'm out riding in the parking lot, I had to adjust the tape several times because it kept dying on me. Luckily, the regen brakes are crap. I don't really, when I say they're crap, they just don't do a lot. Now, I've read the opposite's true. Someone say I turn it all the way off because even level 1 regen is too much. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. It's cut off on me. I've tried to turn it up with no noticeable difference. So when I say they're crap, I just mean weak, because I actually don't mind. I don't mind that they're that low. They shouldn't be extremely high, tight. It shouldn't be extremely tight. My Journey Max, I think the regen's much more grabby as far as that goes. So I will probably lean more towards on the Logan brakes for my stopping power than I will regen. But it has cut off several times on me when I'm riding at this point. So at first I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, the scooter's not, and I noticed the brake light indicator on the display. So those are the things that I don't like about the Klima. It's nothing really about the scooter itself, but rather the lack of quality control, and then the lack of customer service after quality control by NAMI has been missed on the part of Fluid Freeride. Next up, for the under $2,500 category, we have the Wolf Warrior XGT. This scooter at the moment is $2,400, which is a really good deal. I think, for the money. For the Klima, compared to the Klima, we've got a top speed of 45 versus about 42 for the Klima, so you got a higher top speed. You do have a range of 44 miles tested versus 25 for the Klima Max. So the Klima Max at $2,200 versus the Wolf Warrior XGT. With the better range, the XGT wins out slightly on that. Cabo also is a reputable brand. These scooters are incredibly stable at high speeds because of the dual stem. The headlights are reputable and amazing. The suspension is really good. And this scooter at $2,400 for what you get is a steal in my opinion. Next up, for the under $3,000 category, I have the Nami Burn E2. And to be honest, when I said that I may keep the Klima and that may be the last scooter I ever need, while I don't think that's going to be true, the next scooter I get could be another version of the Klima, but it also could be something like the Burn E2 or the Burn E2 Max. $2,700 for the Burn E2 is really a great deal. You get 44 miles of top speed, which is comparable to the XGT, just for a couple $100 more. The range is closer to 50 miles, which is great. And once again, the suspensions on the Burnies are second to none. So you do have 11-inch tires on this one, with a paddle style throttle, as you do in all Namis. So this scooter is a beast scooter. I know it's quite a bit bigger than the Klima, and so it really has a spectacular look, feel, and everything from what I have researched. And for me, staying in the Nami brand is a very high likelihood of possibility if I really find this scooter to be a solid long-term purchase. Those things are yet to be determined. If I end up having a lot of problems that are difficult to fix and difficult to get support for, it may sour me. It may sour me over time, and I may not want to deal with Nami or Fluid. But I don't want to judge them so quickly. So far, I am happy with where we got to. Once again, the Burn E2 at $2,700 is an absolute steal. It's the closest. It's the best thing in this category by far, in my opinion. For the money, the $2,700 is great. So if I were to go from a scooter where I paid $1,900 to $2,700, that would be an easy choice. That would be an easy choice for not that much more than I pay for my Klima. The Burn E2 Max at $99.99, whatever, $4,000, let's say. The Burn E2 Max at $4,000 is a decent price, but it's not a deal. In my opinion, it's a, for what you get. I think there may be better deals than the Burn E2 Max, but the Burn E2 at $2,700, I don't think you can beat it for that price. Next up, for the under $3,500 category, the Tiwi Mars XTR 10,000 watt dual motor electric scooter is probably by far the best deal at under $3,500. The specs outdo many of the $4,000 scooters, and so at this price, I don't think you can beat it. Once again, the Nami Burn E2 Max doesn't come close to this scooter as far as top speed, range. The dual stem make it probably much more stable than the Burn E2 Max would be. I've heard and seen multiple reports of a slight speed wobble, and you do need a steering damper for the Burn E line, and that includes the Brainy 2 and the Brainy 2 Max, although I think the top speed on the Max is slightly higher. The Max XTR, for under $3,500 at $3,400 is a great deal, and in my opinion probably the best scooter you can get for $3,400. I can put a link down there in the description for this for a small percentage off the T-Wing Mars XTR if you guys are interested, and that will help support the channel if you are indeed in the market for a scooter under $3,500 and you want the best bang for the buck. The T-Wing Mars XTR absolutely delivers. If you are going to spend $4,000 on a scooter, in my personal opinion, at the moment, the InMotion RS is probably the best for the money. There are other scooters I like at this price point, including the Brainy Max 2, the Cabo Wolf King GTR, are both strong competitors in this category of $4,000 scooters. But the InMotion RS just does a slightly better job than either one of those at this price, in my opinion. Top speed is 60 miles an hour with a range at about 60 miles as well tested. So I like the form factor of the scooter. It does have a backward leaning stem, but it's adjustable, so you can kind of put it wherever you need to make up for the awkwardness of the backward leaning stem if that does bother you. So I do like that about the scooter. It has the adjustable height. You can sit really low, or you can crank it up. That's probably the best feature of this scooter, hands down, in my opinion. That makes it stand out is the adjustable height of the scooter. So depending on your ride, you can sit at medium, you can sit really low if you really want to speed around and have that stability, or you can jack it up if you want the plush feel and handle some of those bumps without feeling them so much. So the lower the suspension setting, the more bumps, but the more stability you're going to get as you increase speed. Then the higher up you get, you're going to not notice the bumps as much, but your center of gravity is a little higher. So once again, the InMotion RS probably does the best job of putting out the best scooter for $4,000 in my opinion. Very nice. You can get the InMotion RS or the InMotion RS Midnight from Voro Motors. They're probably very comparable. One's all black and one has the yellow accents. I kind of go back and forth between which one I like the best. And for scooters over $5,000, I have the Emu Roadster as my favorite. I will likely never spend this kind of money on a scooter, but if I did, at this point, it would probably be the Emu Roadster electric scooter. It has a top speed of over 70 miles per hour and a range of around over 50 miles. Tested range. So that is significant. I like the way the scooter looks. It's got great reviews as far as how it feels to ride, and to be honest, it's quite an impressive piece of machinery. Even for a almost $6,000 scooter. Like I said, would I pay $6,000 for a scooter? At this point in my scooter journey, I can't see it. That doesn't mean that'll never happen. I may very well find myself in a situation where I want a $6,000 scooter. I can't see that at this point, but like I said, you never know. It's a really nice scooter, and if I had $6,000 to blow on a electric scooter and I was interested, this would be the one. Not to be outdone, the Weeped Sonic S dual motor e-scooter is around $20,000. Obviously, if I wouldn't spend $6,000 for a scooter, I wouldn't likely spend $20,000 on a scooter either, but I didn't want to leave anything to be left out. So, at $19,200 plus tax, I'm assuming the WePed Sonic S is goes in excess of 100 miles an hour. That is far above anything that I've seen. This is the most out there crazy scooter I could find. Just in case anyone that's watching this these videos might be interested. This thing's insane. I have seen the test. I have seen the top speed tests on the scooter. I believe it was in China, but the guy was absolutely flying on the scooter and got it to over 100 miles an hour. If I did one day decide to purchase this scooter, it would just be for looks. I don't believe I would ever want to ride this scooter. You never know. You never know where where my comfortability might start getting. But if I did buy this scooter, it would be as a collector, just to have it and keep in my scooter collection, just to say I have it. But I don't think I would put a single mile on a scooter. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you enjoyed this content, you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And happy riding.